Yeah, make it just existential horror. Slow, creeping dread that makes me question my place in the universe.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one.
Neither.
Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
You betcha, bud. Your absolute bottom dollar, I'm going to do that one. Keep dry. Unfortunately, too far to read any of those. Just check. The game will make you think a jump scare is coming, but there aren't any. Okay. Much appreciated. I am comfortable with that as the spoiler. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. It's better to be self-assured of that rather than approach everything with fear and trepidation. I wish they'd updated everything in here to only be remembering the figurines, like almost as though the memory of completing the achievement and the collection and completionism aspect had completely washed out all other memories of the actual game. Because there are games that exist like that. Like I played the rebooted Ratchet and Clank on PS5 for nostalgic reasons. Huge Ratchet and Clank fan, and I played it, and there's an achievement in it that requires you to use the Groovatron, which makes enemies dance, on every unique enemy in the entire game. However, there's no tracking for it, and you can't revisit certain sections where certain enemies might be, story sections especially. So I ended up replaying Ratchet and Clank in New Game Plus 4 times in the same day, and I still don't have that achievement. The good memory that I have of replaying like a reduxed version of Ratchet and Clank, the first game, and really enjoying it is now buried under an avalanche of frustration at the inability to get this final checklistable item. The greatest wealth is memory. I'm just saying, I would appreciate that a lot. Are these going to be all of the figurines? The Memory Zone Temp. Who is Stanley? I thought you'd embody Jim. Sorry, Stanley is the figurines, the collectibles, the Stiggly Wigglies. Let's begin again. All right. Do you want me to go down to the bottom? I'll go down to the bottom. I mean, this isn't even hidden around the corner anymore. Sounds like Fallout Boy Pip-Boy figurines all over again. Those, I feel like those aren't so important. But then as soon as they attach achievements to having all of them, I think achievements are cool and interesting and probably shouldn't exist. You can use them to guide a player as well, but also I think a lot of the time they create these negative play patterns like that.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
So naive. Oh, another exit. Advice Colon says, and a good point, in open world game, achievements are kind of good because they are the walls and the narrative exploration vehicles, but achievements in narrative games are not that. Yes, unfortunately, there are also some situations where, like, oh no, you got your open world in my narrative game. Oh no, you got your narrative in my open world. And some of those can become a little trying as well. It's a very minimal problem to have, right? This is like a frayed nail. But still. I love tools that...
was the second Stanley. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Thank you. Mundane and unremarkable are my middle names. Boss's bathroom, understairs.
Let's do a
Oh, I
little
remember
quiz.
these.
Which of these rooms was the room you found your 3rd mini stand? Can you remember?
Boss's bathroom. Ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba. I do.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the 3rd one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your 3rd time doing anything.
Like, I remember, like, 2 or 3 Korok seeds that were kind of cool, but I remember being annoyed by them a lot more than that.
Let's see, what came next?
I do not remember the Temple of Aphrodite here.
Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
I avoid fake memory. Only real memory for me, please. Oh. Yeah, no, that's where I got the next Figley. It will let me progress without getting the fake Figley. I wonder.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy. Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
The render time alone would have taken much longer than that. I used Windows Movie Maker to actually edit the first video that went up ever on the Rhapsody YouTube channel, which I recorded when I was 16 years old on a mod for Half-Life 2 called Nightmare House 2. Very familiar with the interface of WMM. I was using it for a little bit of time afterwards with Hearthstone still. Hey, hang on, I remember that. Can we see it? Put it on, please. I can show you a little bit of it later. It's unlisted or private on my channel or something like that. I don't know. Okay. It won't let me. It won't let me return. Hell, looks like it won't let me die either. Oh. Cordoned off. I think the pink room is somewhere the narrator refuses to remember. Oh.
And then, Stanley, we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Never felt as good as how I do right now, except for maybe when I think of how I felt that day when I felt the way that I do right now. Right now. Yeah, but this isn't going to be the 12th because I didn't recollect the... Oh, the illusion of choice. How dare you. I deny your reality and substitute my... okay, cool. Well, I'll go back to that then. I think the pink one was a substitution for the one below the stairs. So I'm not entirely certain what we've affected by avoiding that, but it did seem intentional and they allowed us to.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Unceremoniously.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards.
Yeah.
We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Incredible! I'm gonna put them down. Let me return the
room
figurines.
with the red and blue doors.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Loading.
I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
I remember the first time I remembered this. Ah, yes. I remember that memory like it was just 5 minutes ago. This game is incredible. Can you avoid picking it up? Possibly, actually. But I'll just avoid the pink one. The one that I know, like, yeah, I'm freaked out by that one. That's a mimic and prey.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yeah, can you play it again?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that video.
Oh, good video. It did really, like, I almost felt like we were gonna have the kick in of I got my first real 6-string. Like, it seemed like that was coming up.
The pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, pretty different game. What's that up there? Just a box? Can we do this 3 times? We'll see.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
I do wonder if they're going to directly ponder upon the fact that any new content is a reward for it, but I'm certain they're aware of it. Obviously, designing this line. Yeah, Understairs is the other one. This is the other one that I didn't get to visit. It won't even let me go for it. This one's from poking around behind the boss's office.
Our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too.
I remember you
The past
remembering
is
it.
Truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Beyond me. 15?
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Are we going to revert to the beginning of time? Watch as humanity evolves in reverse? Collect them all. Oh yeah, this is where we were. Oh no, this is not where we were. Well, this is kind of where we were. This was part of where we were. I hope that helps.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Let me get some jumps back. If I want to go into the past, then that number was 36 at some point. I need access to some ups.
Oh, yes, the 2 doors.
Of course.
Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
A little darker beyond the doors. We're not even being given direction. I'll take this one. Just gonna make clear my displeasure here. In any way I know how.
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Yeah, this screen, I'm pretty sure. Right?
Yes.
And then I go back to...
I'm remembering something now.
No.
I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I'm dumbstruck. I love this game so much.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So give Stanley one more run, right? This is whiteboard dog ending. Welcome to the whiteboard. Let me make sure dog mode is enabled. Thank you. Otherwise, life has no meaning. Is this run canonically in the memory zone? Apparently, but the bucket is here. So we could make new memories even. I just wonder, because I figured I was going like on the path towards an ending at that point.
Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker. Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Curious. So I've done everything on the right. Unless this is like encapsulated within the mega ending that we just reloaded into. Can we get under the stairs? Yeah, maybe that is a good time. Right? Because we never saw Under the Stairs. We didn't have memories of Under the Stairs. However, outside Under the Stairs is one of the gated endings.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
So if that's
Perhaps
similar, we will jump
his
past
office was where he'd find answers.
Perhaps his boss's office would be where he would find answers. I do kind of believe that as well, though.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
No more figurines on this room? Well, I mean, we don't have to go past the door down here to just see the... Yeah, there's no figurine there, and that's just going to be out to the other ending, so I think we'll go back up. Final run? No, I think there's probably a lot more after this. Still. Ones that I have missed, I believe. I could also just be wrong. There was a paper down there? There was indeed, which I think we read previously. We've also explored this previously.
Stepping into
2458.
his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing... The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but an unmistakable spark from somewhere deep within.
It remembered. Beautiful. 2845.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Quite wholesome. I really enjoy that. I almost feel like I should go back up and back down, even without pressing the 3s, if possible. Just as like a little bit of a test.
Wait,
Yep.
Stanley said.
Boundary break within the boundaries.
Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
Perhaps a glow of warmth. Quality time with our quality bucket. This thing's definitely a buy it for life kind of situation. Excuse me. Step out, step in, step out, step in. Shake it all about. No? It's dog mode. I forgot we're in dog mode. Oh, those dogs are barking.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to do it again.
He
There we
said.
go.
The number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. Perhaps the bucket.
So we'll move on
listened.
to a ending down
Perhaps
here
it
with the
had not
bucket.
seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
I guess we can try the mind control ending.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he? Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
One of these screens has an error message on it that reads something like, error, 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 error in the error way, error in the error field. Is anyone ever going to read these? I spend a lot of time typing these out, and like, absolutely no one's going to see these at all, I'm pretty sure. So if you are reading this, then you're the only one. Hi and thank you. I'm pretty certain it reads something basically to the tune of that. There was a boundary break episode on this game.
And Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exist.
So just to interrupt the game for a second, because I can't talk over him, but isn't there supposed to be an ending in this room where you actually end up having to come back to this room and possibly tap a bunch of buttons? Because I haven't encountered that one with the button with the bucket yet.
Over another human life.
I think we turned
For
this machine
he and
on
the
and it showed
would
us birds.
dismantle the controls for good. Two best
So let's try
friends,
off.
Stanley and the bucket. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Don't you dare take this away from me.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why
Paradise.
had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
No. Keep the light, keep the light.
Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it.
We should
Stanley
the bucket.
realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I believe the line that was Phantom showing there for a millisecond in subtitle was the bucket acknowledging the three with more.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
At least it is here.
Without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, surely not.
I think we did the input received heaven ending with the bucket as well. So, what are we now missing? Also, I'm surprised we are back here even. I figured the narrator was trying to give an end to the story. Did we have to play the same path again after the narrator saying that he was going to wrap up the story? But that requires getting the figurines, which are not re-gettable? Did you do the line last stream, as in the input? No, we didn't do the adventure line. I don't know how to get the adventure line to just randomly spawn. I think it spawns as a condition for a start.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So if I've done everything on the right, the only thing I can do is the door on the left. So there's the right, there's following, there's phone with the bucket, phone unplugging the phone with the bucket, there's jumping off with the bucket, there's going around the bottom and side back in through the vents, there's the ability to cut past, right? There's the right side here and then using the maintenance tunnel to get back down.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
We did that one last streams about
the correct.
Mental instability without the bucket ending.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I don't remember what's down in this. We could go back to the room where they would otherwise be telling us to collect the figurines, but past that, again, we are back into the boss's resolve. Maybe we needed to throw the bucket. We have no control over getting the bucket out of our hands. It is entirely up to the game to take it from us. Our cold, dead hands. In particular.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Yeah, we did this one. The down ending is the intervention with the bucket destroyer.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original...
Okay, well, the bucket destroyer you can interact with or not, but you still get the same ending as far as I'm aware. Attempting to destroy the bucket gives you the same thing as not destroying the bucket. So climbing out the window here is one of the things you can do, but I'm pretty sure... Wait, no. Okay. I thought you could only do it after you'd ordered paper, which is actually what this phone call is doing right here.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.
I failed. Damn it.
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about? He screamed. You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow. No, said the bucket. Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of...
No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Bright new morning. Where's my bucket gone?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah, bucket. Good thing that's it.
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
This is normal, right? No, this is bypassing an area, I think. No? No, it's, right, this is just the unstable opening area. I have an announcement to make. The end is the end. The end is not as the end. It's not.
And entered the door on his left.
Is not the end. Okay, so. Because I am now wrapping up the final couple of endings, and my mental path is completely, I don't know where I need to go at all. If anyone has any cryptic clues or things that maybe I've forgotten.
Still no one was here.
My mental map has
Stanley
got us
needed
this
the
far,
bucket's
but
warmth and
that's
comfort now
about as far
more
as it
than
can.
ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Especially because we already got all the Stiglerines. We've done Broom Closet, both with and without. We've gone down and out.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
There's 2 endings in the mind control room that you are missing. In the mind control room? I don't even know how to...
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Alright, let's check those out. I think we've not done Rocket League ending with Bucket. I don't think I could access that with Bucket, could I? Didn't it take not having the bucket to get there? Because that was past the red and blue doors? At least that's what I thought.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Unfortunately, no bucket
What horrible
plays.
secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
So the other things that I can do here, well, we've hit both of the end buttons of the machine.
Monitors jumped to life,
With...
and Stanley nearly
There's
dropped the
endings
bucket
in
short.
this room.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Oh dear. Well, I'm seeing no way except to proceed here. Employee observation protocol. To see if on-site assistance to protocol to it. No, way impossible to read. Okay, so choices that we may not think are choices. Not doing a thing, not proceeding a path, going back past a barrier after being able to...
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Unfortunately, that will only close when I stand upon it. So... hitting the same button again, nothing. Trying to return backwards, nothing either. The way you get the ending is fairly similar to the way you got the ending you just got. So...
No! He screamed into the bucket.
I couldn't get away from that.
Accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Let's go back down then. Let's go back down then. Nothing? You've missed it at this
Here
point?
was the
Good
proof.
lord.
The heart of the
How?
operation. Controls
I
labeled
made
with
every choice.
emotions. Happy or sad or
What'd I miss?
content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Brad Bucket. Have we missed all new ones at this point and have to return? What choice? I don't understand. What did I do wrong or not wrong? What did I not do wrong or do incorrectly wrong? So there's the mind control machine again. We could try and get the freedom ending with the bucket. You do have to reset at this point. Good lord. All right. I'm taking all direction at this point. What have I screwed up? Where am I trying to? Why does it not work?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Got it. It is similar in that I must clip onto an object and fall off.
This is a bucket. And indeed it was. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I appreciate checking Scam Likely. I do usually prefer indirect hints, but if it's something that I just completely missed,
now more than ever.
there is some
boss's office was where he'd find answers.
There is some value, certainly, to streamlining the experience that otherwise, individually, by a player themselves, would be done over the course of a couple of hours, just testing every different thing. Whereas here, I would like to keep the pace up, rather.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay.
Stepping in.
Perfect. We'll do that other one in a bit, I guess. You didn't deload any of these assets, did you? It's the version that tries to get across the general ethos behind the rule. Haven't you done this before? Is in returning entirely past the manager's office? No, I don't think so. Put the bucket back down. No? Is all of this just normally reopened still? I thought all of this closed behind us. Oh, this door is now open. You are now leaving. Escape pod bay, floor 760. 754, down there. Nope. Alright, we'll just make our way up. See if there is anything that we can edge up upon as well while doing so. Red doors for different floors. I mean, I'll test them all, just in case. I've never seen this. Neither Vulpix. Man, they usually don't leave you for this long without the narrator. They're building up suspense here. Does epilogue stand for the ending with bees? This is the time that Stanley decided to become a beekeeper. You can see him here standing into a giant beekeeper's helmet. Escape pod bay launch. Looks like a nondescript room. Can't see anything. No, that's the B log. I'll do the third clap in a couple millennia. You wouldn't. It's gonna be hard without you too, Bucket. We'll always have the memories of collecting all the Stiglerines and recollecting them and then remembering recollecting them and recollecting our memories of recollecting them and recollecting our rememberings of recollecting them. Bucket, it's better you than me. Please, don't cry. I'll cry too. All right, where's my bucket?